Aesthetics matter. A film having a good story is not enough. It must look good as well. What fun is there in watching a movie if the pictures coming out of the screen are not good to look at? Cinema is, after all, a visual medium. But there is a particular idea that has begun to creep into the way we consume art. That if a film has good color grading, dark undertones, neon lights, and a vaguely symbolic atmosphere, then the film is automatically a point better than everyone else, even if the actual content would remind you of the quality of, say, War 2 or Adipurush. You see this particularly among film snobs on Twitter and Instagram. A trailer comes out that is slightly darker than usual. Someone walks through a door illuminated by red neon lights, and there is a shot of a glass of water that probably symbolizes the protagonist's troubled relationship with his father. And you will see all of Twitter calling the film artistic, or more accurately, A24-esque, or perhaps it has a neon vibe. And yes, I am aware that neon is a film distributor and that the term is probably being used incorrectly, but I have seen enough people describe a film as having a neon vibe to know that the phrase has now entered the cinematic vocabulary of people who want to sound like they just have returned from a cinematic art festival. There is nothing wrong with a movie looking good. In fact, a film should look good. But sometimes the aesthetics become so powerful that it begins to substitute that it is supposed to enhance. I think about this every time I look at Nicholas Winding Refn's filmography. After Drive, his neon-soaked, hyper-stylized visual language became so culturally influential that it almost became a genre of its own. Neon lights, synth music, slow motion, violent men staring into the middle of the distance. Suddenly, the visual language of Drive was everywhere. But the interesting thing about Drive is that its style worked because there was something beneath it. The atmosphere was not the entire movie. The aesthetics was not the point. It was one part of the experience. Eventually, we started copying the surface. The neon lights remained, the synthesizer remained, the slow motion remained, the color grading remained, and somewhere along the way, the actual movie and the story went missing. There is a reason why everyone remembers the song Night Call and the opening of Drive, but no one remembers the plot of the film. And that, I think, is the larger problem. We have become very good at recognizing the visual language of quality. We are less interested in checking whether the quality is actually there. We live in an age where packaging is often more important than the product. You can share a beautiful image from a film. You can share a great looking clip from a theater. You can post photographs of 70mm IMAX screening and make the experience look like you just witnessed the Lisan Al Gaib. I would know. I cannot go to most of them because apparently enjoying cinema is now a part of club exclusivity, but I digress. Nobody, however, is going to share a great piece of dialogue. Nobody is going to post a screenshot of a film paragraph or a film idea and say, look at the construction of this sentence. And this obsession with good packaging and bad products does not stop at cinema. It affects literature as well. There are Hindi novels and stories that contain some of the most profound writing that you will ever read. But they are discussed in the same cultural spaces or not with the same cultural relevance as their Western counterparts. Part of the reason is that presentation influences perception. A beautifully designed English language novel can immediately appear sophisticated, literary and important. It has a minimalist cover, carefully chosen typography, and perhaps a single object placed against a beige background. It looks cool. You look at this and think, well, this book is surely gonna change my life. Meanwhile, a Hindi book might have a solid color cover, a straightforward title, and a simple illustration. But again, how are you supposed to look cool by reading a Hindi novel? And yes, this is a ridiculous way to judge literature. But people judge books by their cover all the time, literally and metaphorically. There is nothing inherently wrong with that. Good packaging means better visibility. Better visibility means a greater chance of someone picking up the actual product. That is how a system is supposed to work. A good cover should make you curious. A good poster should make you want to buy the film. A good trailer should make you want to see the ticket. Or actually see the film? Yeah, it's confusing. The problem begins when packaging becomes enough. Take energy drinks. People will happily drink Monster in public. Monster has aura. Monster has a personality. Monsters look like it could power a Formula 1 car. But these are the same people who will be embarrassed to be seen drinking Sting. They are both energy drinks, but one is considered cool. The other is something you buy when you only have 20 rupees in your balance and no self-respect. That's not really fair now, is it? Because the product may be broadly similar, but the packaging creates an entirely different cultural perception. And that is what aesthetics do. They create expectations before we experience the actual thing. Which is why social media can be so dangerous the way we consume art. Someone posts a clip from a comedy film. The clip is genuinely funny. You watch it, the algorithm has done its job, and you think, this looks hilarious. So you watch the entire film and then you realize that the scene you saw was probably the funniest scene in the entire movie. For example, I have seen many reels for the film Dilwale where people remember or reminisce about the Pogo scene, the Ramlal and Kingo scene. And that is because They are the only two scenes that are funny in the entire 2-hour 13-minute runtime. The rest of the film is just the journey towards that funny scene, except you already know the destination, so you have just wasted your entire runtime. The same thing happened with me when I tasted Dr. Pepper and Vanilla Coke. I saw people talking online how it was going to fundamentally alter my understanding of beverages, so I tried them, and instead of tasting like heaven, they tasted like cough syrup. A cough syrup I wasted 120 rupees on. But hey, fool me once, shame on me. I did not get fooled twice, so the shame is still on me, but at least I can swallow my pride. And perhaps that is the real problem with aesthetics. Aesthetics are supposed to create curiosity, but we have started treating them as evidence. A dark color palette becomes evidence that a film is intelligent. A minimalist cover becomes evidence that a book is profound. A foreign title becomes and makes sure that the restaurant is expensive, but that is not true. A particular brand of energy drink becomes evidence that you have some kind of an aura. A viral clip becomes evidence that the entire film is worth watching. But all of this is just the tip of the iceberg and not the actual evidence. The aesthetics become the argument. And sometimes it does work. Sometimes the thing really is as good as it looks. But sometimes you are simply staring at a beautifully designed box containing absolute nonsense. The cover should make you pick up the book. The poster should make you buy the ticket. The packaging should make you curious. But eventually, the thing inside has to justify the reason why you opened it. Because there is subtle art to doing covers, to making them look good enough that after looking at them, you want to go out and do epic shit. But maybe try and read into them as well. Aesthetic can make you try something you would never otherwise do. They can make you pick up a book, buy a ticket, order a drink, or watch a film from a filmmaker you have never heard of, meanwhile watching Krzysztof Kieślowski, and that is powerful. But once the cover has done its job, the content has to take over. So yes, aesthetics do matter, they matter a lot. But maybe before we decide that something is brilliant because it has neon lights, film grain, a beautiful poster and a 70mm screening, we should check whether there is actually anything inside worth looking at. So yeah, those are my thoughts on the film, and yeah, don't worry, I did not remember the entire paragraph. There was a teleprompter right over here because hey, I learned from the best politicians in the entire world. So what are your thoughts? Do you think that aesthetics matter more than the content or some other thoughts that you have? Share your thoughts down below and I'll see you next time.